All right, we are on record.
Welcome, everybody. Thanks for joining us. We actually have, I think, where are we at? 65 registrants. So I think hopefully people will just keep hopping on. I'm in the central time zone, so it's 2 o'clock here. So I'm sure that we'll get people from all the way across the country. So
yeah, got some more people joining right now.
Bridget, did you want to start with just a little bit about you, or you want me to go first about me? Either way.
You go first. How's that sound?
Great. Okay. So I think most people probably know me, but if you don't know me, my name is April McDaniel. I'm a certified public accountant for COPSA OD. COPSA OD specializes in the beauty industry. We spend most of our time working with salon and spa owners. We also have a piece of our business that's distributors, so distributors of salon-centric L'Oreal products mostly. And then obviously, because we're in Nebraska, we do have part of our firm that does work with agriculture. So my role here at COPSA OD is that I get the pleasure of doing a lot of our firm education. I get to travel and get to meet all you beautiful people out on the road, which is wonderful for me. It really fills my soul, that part of me. Not normal for most accountants to want to do that, but that's probably what makes me the happiest when I get to go do that. I also work with our clients discussing their financial statements, looking at key performance indicators, talking about how they can make more money, as well as tax planning, helping them save money on taxes. And we have, I have quite a team here that I get to work with. There's about 30 of us. So I definitely can't take credit for all the things that we do. I have a wonderful group of people that I get to work with. So, and some of my clients are actually on the phone today. So I'm excited to see some of you. I get to see you about once a month, some of you, but others I don't get to see quite so often. So I'm going to let Brigette tell a little bit about herself, and then we'll kind of start getting into the content. So
yeah, awesome. It's so great to be here with everyone. I've had the pleasure to get to know April for all these years, going to hair shows. Oh my gosh, over a decade. And I was a former client of COPSA OD, so it's such an honor and pleasure to be here with all of you guys. And my name is Brigette Sobus, and I'm the owner of the Power and Joy Coaching Academy. And I have been in the salon and spa industry. Oh gosh, I'm getting ready to say almost 30 years, which is crazy. I don't know where time flies, but I started my career out in the salon and spa industry. I started out as a colorist. I became a master certified hair colorist. Worked for many different types of businesses. I worked for corporate businesses that had a lot of systems and structures, to salons that had a little bit of salon structure in it. And I worked for some salons that were a big hot mess and had no systems or structure or accountability at all. I'm sure many of you can relate to all that. So, so actually the last salon I was working in that had no systems or structures, that was a hot mess. I was making a 6-figure income in that business. And I thought to myself, if he can own a business, there's no reason why I can't. How many of you have had that thought going through your head too, right? So the opportunity presented itself. I was making 6 figures in his business, and I had the opportunity to buy the salon. So I was like, oh, great. I'm going to become an instant millionaire because I'm going to take over this business and buy a yacht on Lake Michigan. So I bought the business, and guess what? Dreams of becoming a millionaire disappeared pretty much overnight. I lost my 6-figure paycheck, and now I'm leading a team. At the time, it was probably 6 people. And if you knew me then, gosh, this is in 2005. When I would try to lead a team meeting, all you would be seeing was me crying. I was like an emotional wreck. So gratefully, a person introduced me to a coach training program. They're no longer in existence anymore, but back then it was called Salon Training International. And I barely had any money in the bank. But at the time I was like, if I don't get help, like I don't even know where my life would go. So I took a chance. I hired them as coaches and consultants. And before you know it, I was starting to increase the business by over 30-40%. Back then, my average service ticket was $90 when I first started working with them. And then like pretty much 6 months later, I took it from $90 to $140. So imagine if I was still doing hair today, what my average service ticket would be. So it was $140. That was what, like 17 years ago. So moving forward, oh, and I learned how to lead a team meeting without crying. It was pretty cool. So, you know, throughout the years, you know, I just kept putting systems in place. I started working less behind the chair. I think I had everything from, I think the most amount of employees that I had were about 24. And in 2000, about 8 years ago, actually I found out 8 years ago, we're all free and clear of this, but 8 years ago, I was diagnosed with breast cancer for the first time. And because of the systems that I put in place in my business and how I grew it and was able to back off behind working behind the chair, I actually was able to take a 7-month leave of absence from my business, which was pretty cool. So systems and structures is an absolute must in this industry, no matter what level you're at. If you're a solopreneur or you have a team, system and structures are a must. They actually gave me that opportunity to take a leave of absence. So throughout that journey, I have since sold the salon. I sold it in 2020, right when the pandemic we're starting to open the doors back open. I became a coach and consultant over 10 years ago. I'm a certified coach with the International Coaching Federation. So I've been doing coaching consulting work for salon owners that have grown their businesses by 30 to 50% and beyond. And I absolutely love what I do. I'm so excited to be here with April today because I have, oh my gosh, thousands of service providers and owners I've taught in front of at hair shows. And like the biggest thing when I asked them who wants to make more money, everyone raises their hand, right? How many of you want to make more money? You guys can, the people that don't have your cameras on, by all means, put your cameras on, because the more you play with us here, the more you're going to get out of it. So I encourage you, ask questions, get in the chat, raise your hand, come and talk to us, because the biggest things when I ask, who wants to make more money? Everyone raises their hand. And then I ask, what gets in the way of you making more money? What are, actually, before I even tell you what I would hear, if you guys even want to put in the chat right now, like what gets in the way of you or your team making more money? Let's start seeing it in the chat. I don't see anything yet. Are you guys shy?
Expenses, yourself,
Okay, expenses, yourself.
guilt of charging more.
Okay, yep.
So if I can, just for a second, while you were starting to get some of these come through, you know, I get the opportunity to talk to owners about, you know, that bottom line figure and what the salon's making or what the salon's not making. And we talk about really the ways that you can make more money. And my piece of this with Brigette, it's really about the numbers side of it. Obviously, she's going to talk a little bit about numbers too, but she's going to talk about your mind a lot more, which isn't my thing. I believe in what she's doing and what she's going to teach you today, but for my side of things, you know, let's just think about if you've been on the call with a coach that's trying to coach you to get your numbers up. If you spend time on the phone with me, the things that we talk about, there's really only 5 ways to make more money, right? In your salon, there's 5 ways. And what are those 5 ways? I'm not going to quiz you. I should quiz you. There's a few people on this phone I should quiz. Mitch, should I quiz you? No. So 5 ways to make more money. A couple of them are already showing up in the chat as things that are obstacles for you. So raising prices, that's a way, right? And I know when I say to somebody that you need to raise prices, oh, well, I already did that, or oh, I'm going to lose clients, or oh, I can't do that because really, if I do that, all the stylists get a raise, and they just got a raise. There's all these reasons why they can't do it. Another way to make more money is to bring in new clients. So, you know, I know all of you are out there trying to bring in new business, and that can be hard sometimes, but that's a way to make more money. Now, I don't typically get people saying to me, owners saying to me, well, I don't know how to do that, or I can't do that. But I do think there are obstacles that stand in our way of getting new clients. So I'm sure that we're just going to talk about ways to try to address that. Of course, add-on services. What comes up when I say to a client, hey, you need to make sure that your stylists or your professionals are asking their clients if they need a gloss, or telling them why they need a gloss, asking their clients, hey, if you're doing a facial, hey, can I go ahead and do something else that goes along with that? Hey, do you want hot stones with your massage today? What are all these new other things that we can add on to that they actually will pay you more money for? So things like that. But I get those arguments. Well, my stylists don't like to sell. I get that argument all the time when it comes to retail, right? So there are other things, gross profit percentage. So guys, let me just give you a quick down and dirty about gross profit percentage. I know some of you already know what that is. Some of you probably could teach it yourselves. Other people may not know. So when you have a service sale, and then you subtract your variable costs from that. So I'm talking about your wages you have to pay your professionals, your payroll taxes to pay your professionals, your merchant fees, your color product fee, all of those things. At the end of that, that's the gross profit. So subtracting those costs that are associated with that. So you can change that gross profit percentage. How do you do that? You have to affect compensation, or you have to affect charges for product, right? Or you have to go shopping for another merchant card processor. So those are the ways. But every time we have those conversations, there's reasons why you can't. They get brought up to me. And the fifth thing, and then I'll let Brigette talk, because I know she's dying here to talk. So is to cut your fixed expenses. Well, what are fixed expenses, guys? Fixed expenses are rent, advertising, paying your front desk person, maybe benefits for your people. It's your paying for your salon software. It's small equipment type things in your salon, things that typically you can't do a lot to change them other than really paying attention to what's going on. People say, well, I do Facebook. I do, what do they call that? Boosts through Instagram or through Facebook or Twitter, whatever. Well, do you know what those are costing you? And do you know what your return on the investment is for that? So, I mean, I can use math to back into what you need to get for your return on your investment for that item. But if you're not willing to even try and get past your block that you have in your head about the fact that you can't do it, it doesn't matter. So what I'm here to support Brigette in is that a lot of times the solutions are right in front of us, but we get in our own way. And so Brigette shared that she was a past client back when she had a salon. She was a client of ours. I met Brigette out on the road when I was educating. As you guys know, if you've listened to me before, I love partnering with other industry professionals. Bonnie Bonadeo was on the phone. It looks like today, Bonnie and I did just a webinar a few weeks ago. She might have dropped off, but she was on here just a little bit ago. So, you know, what I want to be for people is a resource. And that's why I've partnered with Brigette today. Is we are not associated in that we are business partners. There's nothing like that going on. Neither one of us is making money off of this. We want to give you guys some really great information. And so that's why Copsa OD does stuff like this. So now, Brigette, tell them all what they need to be doing so that they can stop telling me they can't do what I'm telling them they need to do.
Oh gosh, it really starts with mindset. It really, really, really starts with mindset. And one of the reasons why I do what I do, and I'm really bringing this work to the salon industry, is because even as a coach and consultant, I would be like, I would give my clients at times, or give the service providers, be like, here you go. This is the exact system that you have to put in your business. And then their blocks would get in the way. Their mindset blocks would get in the way of them implementing things quicker, sooner, faster. Like still, like when I say, what were the top things that would service providers and owners would say that were getting in their way? Fear, huge. Fear of clients leaving them. Fear of staff walking out the door if they implemented putting a handbook or job description in place. Fear of if they have to lower their compensation structure, fear that their staff would walk out on the door. So fear, guilt was huge. So many people, the salon industry is famous for controlling clients' pocketbooks. So our clients sit in their chair, and then we hear all their woes of the day. And then before you know it, stylists or service providers start feeling bad and then feeling guilty, and then they undercharge, right? So then what happens when you undercharge and then you open up your paycheck, right? There's like disappointment there. Oh, I didn't charge enough. I didn't charge for that gloss, or I didn't charge for this, or I should have been raising my prices. Like I just started coaching a stylist. She's the stylist that's in Chicago. She works for an employer at a salon, and then she also works for herself. And the employer knows that she has her own business too. And this is what I'm coaching her on now. In where she works for the owner, she charges $75 for her haircut. For her own business, she's only charging $45 because she feels bad and guilty for raising her prices. So I'm coaching her. So like, wait, you got to raise your prices on both ends, and they have to be the same. So there's like a mismatch there, and it's all those negative thought patterns that are going through her head that are preventing her from raising her prices like over here, right? Can any of you relate to that? Give me a yes in the chat if you can, right? Robin, you've had your hand up for a second, for a few minutes. Is there something that you wanted to ask? I wanted to acknowledge that your hand was raised.
I bet you forgot to put it back down, Robin.
Gotcha.
If you just hit the, if you hit the raise hand again, there's an option to take it back down.
Yeah. So, fear of success gets in the way of people. Anybody relate to that one? Fear of success? So there's so many things. And here's the thing with this. And this is what I'm like so bringing to the salon and spa industry. So with my new company, so I sold my hair salon. I was working as an independent contractor for another consulting business. And then when I launched the Power and Joy Coaching Academy, I really wanted to bring the mindset work piece to this, because anybody here have heard that you have an unconscious mind? We have a conscious and an unconscious mind. Scientific studies show that 95% of people's behaviors and decision-making are coming from the unconscious mind. So we have been programmed since our little children of the ages of 0 to 7 to have certain values, certain belief systems that we have, how our emotions running our show, or things like that. So I also want to hear if all I want to do is serve you guys while I'm here. What, if you were to walk away from this training, what would be the best thing you would want to know about money mindset? Who would be willing to share in the chat? or you can even come off mute. How to overcome negative thoughts.
I think for some, there's this feeling of, I don't deserve it,
Oh, yeah.
you know? And I think we have to get past that. Whatever it was that happened in your life to make you think that you don't deserve to be all that you want to be, you have to get past that, right? So we all are shaped by different things. And I think for most people, there's probably something that happened before you were 10 or 11 years old that really shaped who
Just
you
me.
are, right? So like getting past that thought in your head that I don't deserve it.
That's a real thing, April. And I actually spoke to a salon owner not that long ago, and I was talking to her about her taking time off and taking care of her own well-being. And I said, well, what do you think is getting in the way? Those were literally her exact words. Literally her exact words. I don't deserve it. I don't think I deserve it. So if you have those feelings, know that you're not alone. And at the end of the day, they're just thoughts. They're not anything that's true. Like I always like to tell people, fear is false evidence appearing real. Our brains make up these stories that haven't even happened yet, and then they stop us in our tracks. So I would definitely write that down. Fear is false evidence appearing real. The thoughts in your head are not necessarily true, especially those negative ones. And I like to call them the itty bitty shitty committee. I'm like, let's get the itty bitty shitty committee like out of our car. So it stops driving our car. Let's get it out. Okay. So how to overcome negative thoughts. I love that, Mitch. Thank you. So one way to do how to overcome negative thoughts is to reframe the way that you're thinking. So even so many times when you are thinking about something that's negative, it's like, okay, so how can I start thinking about this so that it's a positive? So reframing those thoughts, right? Because they're at the end of the day, they're just thoughts and they're not necessarily the truth. And I will be honest with you guys, all of you here, like I could be a complete open book. If you knew me 7-8 years ago, I was so overcome with negative thoughts and emotions, and I hid it really well. I was producing between my salon and the businesses that I was running over $1 million in revenue. And when I tell you the negative thought of I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, I need, like, it was like the next and the next and the next and the next. Every year, 13 years in a row, I won the Salon Today Top 200 award. And those negative thoughts were constantly in the back of my head. Can any of you relate to that? Or is it just me? So I was introduced, and I'm not going to try to get down this jargony path, but like I did start doing a lot of work with my unconscious mind. Somebody had put in here, fear of past traumas rearing their ugly head. Yes. Thank you for sharing that, because I personally had to release a lot of trauma that I had that kept those negative thoughts and negative emotions constantly going through my mind. I will be honest with you, my saving grace with my salon was, well, first and foremost, I always had a coach. And having systems and structures in place were like, that for me was like a huge part of what had me have such success in my business. Because I could always go back, okay, well, in the handbook that you signed and you agreed, in your job description, this is what it said, because I would have people sign non-competes, handbooks, and job descriptions. So those systems completely supported me on having so much success in my business. And then the dirty secret that I had going in my head was, I'm not good enough. I need to win that award. I'm not smart enough. I have to keep working. Like, if you knew me back then, I probably was working like sometimes 16 days in a row. So, yeah. How many of you would like to work less and make more money? Yes, 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 because it's completely possible. It is so possible. Like, there is money all around us. And that is something that I've heard from one of my old coaches too. And it is absolutely true. So I know, and one of the things, this is one thing that I really want to bring to everybody's mind right now. Be mindful of what you're watching on the news. Because guess what? They call television programming for a reason. Okay. The media is constantly, and I'm not saying ignore the news, but be mindful of what you're watching, because the media is brilliant at installing fear in everyone's mind. Like, everyone's now talking about the recession and the recession and the recession. Well, guess what? In 2009, there was a huge recession. Do you guys remember that? I remember my business was like this. It was like, I was growing 30-40% each year. And I was like, all right, I'm going to have this forever. And then 2009 happened. What happened? November was like, my numbers plummeted out of nowhere, like 20%. But here's the thing. 5, 6, 7 years later, guess what I'm still hearing at the hair shows? Oh, the recession, I'm like, we're past the recession, but it's so programmed in your minds. Like, people aren't getting past it. Okay. So what I'm going to invite everybody to do is, how will you be stronger in this time, this age, this time that's going on right now? How will you mentally become stronger and move past that? Because all there is to do is release the fears, release the negative self-talk, and go out there, put your best foot forward. And that's what I want to like just tell everybody right now. I get so passionate about this, because when you're coming from service and you're coming from how can I support and help my clients, there is money to be made everywhere. There's money to be made in this industry everywhere. There's no reason why there shouldn't be just like overflowing of like 6-figure service providers and owners that are making money. Who's ready for that? I want everyone to put up their hand and say, I'm ready. You can raise your hand and just say, I'm ready. For all of that. Okay, I want to try to false. I'm trying to read some of the chat too. What to do when stylists are maxed out, booked solid 2 months in a row? First and foremost, raise prices. Raise prices. That is my first answer to everyone. If you are booked out that far in advance and you're maxed out, raise prices. And I would probably say raise them at least $10. Because what's going to happen there is, statistically, when you raise prices, you will lose maybe 10% of your business, maybe. So I would absolutely raise prices, and then reevaluate it in another quarter. And if the stylist is still booked out that far in advance, guess what? Raise prices again. Raise prices. There's so many times we can work smarter versus harder. I worked with owners that were working like there was an owner that I worked with 7 years ago, and she literally was doing 80 clients a week, working around 80 hours a week, and her average service ticket was like $40. And then when I started working with her, we flipped it to less than 40 clients and an average service ticket over $75. Like, who wants more of that, right? So sometimes we don't need more clients. It's just coming from service and having our clients spend more money with us. All right, what else is there? Past traumas. I mean, yeah, that the past trauma conversation, so many people are like, oh, well, that had happened in the past. Well, guess what? That was in the past. And yes, there's definitely some modalities and ways to get released from those past traumas that have been holding on to us. But what I do want to share, even without doing that, is like, please think about, don't like your past experiences. They're not a dictation of where your future is going. Your future, like you have your present and your future is a blank slate. You can be the artist to the blank slate and you can create anything you want for your future. So many times, okay, so here's a really great practice, okay, that I'm going to invite every single person on here to talk about. So many times, people focus on what they don't want and what is going wrong. Can anybody relate to that? You're focused on what you don't want and what's going wrong. So your unconscious mind doesn't process a direct negative. Okay. So let me say this. If I say, do not think about a purple pig, do not think about a blue tree, do not think about your nose. How many of you thought about any of those three things? Okay. So when you're focusing on what you don't want, consider your unconscious mind thinks it's what you want, and that's what you keep attracting. Have you ever known a friend, or maybe it was yourself, or known someone in your life and they're in the dating world, and all they keep saying is like, I don't want to attract a jerk. I don't want to attract an a-hole. I don't know what it is, whatever they think about all the qualities in someone that they don't want. And then guess what? They continuously date the same type of person over and over again. Do you guys know anybody like that? Or does it happen to you? It happened to me in the past. So this is the one thing, the practice of focusing on what you want. Okay. So it was fun. I was like, I follow this guy named Bruce Lipton, and he's all about, if you don't know who he is, I highly recommend you start following this guy, Bruce Lipton. He was talking about worry. And when we worry, it's actually a negative prayer to bring us what we don't want to happen. So what I would love for everyone to do here is to really, you have to practice thinking about what you want, what is going to go right in your life. And another thing that I like too is the practice of there's no failure. You only have feedback. Only have feedback for yourself. So if some breakdowns happen in life, they happen to me, like I practice what I preach. So if something doesn't go the way I wanted it to go, okay, because it happens, I think about, all right, what happened? What are the positive things I've learned about this situation so that I can pivot and get into inspired action and keep moving forward? Right? That is another practice. You guys like this? Right? And another thing, setting goals. I could talk about stuff all day long, but setting goals, that's another thing. So it's crazy to me when I love reading statistics, but over 90% of the population doesn't even set goals. Okay. And then out of the 10% of people that do set goals, only 3% of the people actually reach them. These are statistics. Okay. So another thing is set goals. You have to set goals. You have to set yearly goals, monthly goals, weekly goals, daily goals. And then what I love to do is you have to envision that they already have happened. like use your mind, like envision that the goal has happened. Because what's going to happen there is that your conscious mind becomes the goal setter, and then your unconscious mind becomes the goal getter. Your unconscious will start directing you into better habits that will move you towards your goal. But here's the kicker though, just so you become more consciously aware of it. If you're not addressing the things that are getting in your way, like the guilt or the fear or the limiting beliefs, there will be some underlying self-sabotage going on, unfortunately. It happens to the best of us. I speak from experience. This is how come I could say this. So, all right.
Think about an athlete.
I'm going to take a break. What do you?
Yeah, let me talk for just a second.
Yeah.
So, like, think about an athlete. They train and they train and they train, right? They're going to the gym. They know what they need to be doing. I'll use my daughter as an example, just because I'm familiar with softball because of her softball stuff, and I coach softball. So, you know, you're showing, they've been taught, you know, how to get in the box. They know when they're supposed to swing. They know how to identify a certain type of pitch, but for some reason, even after years of all that teaching and all that training and that hard work, they get into a slump and they don't know what they're doing. Why am I striking out all the time? What's happening? And all the time you'll hear sports psychologists say, it's not that you don't know what to do. Your mind is telling you you can't do it. You have to flip the switch in your mind and tell yourself you can. You have to visualize yourself on second base. You have to visualize that ball going over the fence. And more of that is how you attain that goal. Now, I'll give a little pitch for a book that I'm reading right now. It's called Mind Gym. I don't know if you've heard of this book, Brigette, but it's called Mind Gym, and it's by Gary Mack. And it's all about all of what we're talking about today. It's really weird because I picked this up over the weekend and didn't even think about it being related to this webinar today, but it certainly is. It's all about all these things that we put in our way of why we can't get anything done. And to go to Bridgette's point about having goals, if you've heard my personal story, you know that I'm a big proponent of setting goals. I also think you need to write those goals down. I think writing goals down, telling the universe that that's what you want will provide you a sense of accountability, and that you will obtain those goals because you wrote them down and you told somebody. Because I tell you what, if I tell Brigette and I tell you guys all today that I've recommitted myself to my daily workouts and that I'm hoping to lose 10 or 15 pounds before I go to the strategies conference in October, then if I don't do that, I'm going to feel bad about it, right? Now, I know I shouldn't feel bad about it, but because I've put it out there, I'm probably going to make it happen. I'm going to see myself in that leather skirt I want to wear. I'm going to see myself up on that stage, and I'm going to see the crowd cheering for me. And so if you can see those clients coming in the door, and you can see those clients being willing and happy to pay whatever price you put on the ticket, and you can see your professionals happy with their take-home income, you can see yourself in that retirement home or wherever it is that you want to be, buying that extra house, you know, maybe it's going to Europe or something. If you see yourself doing that, you're more likely for it to happen.
Yes.
And I have no psychology background. This is just, I fully believe that if I believe that I'm never getting out of this small town, I'm going to be a non-productive part of society, that's where I'm going to be. So, but if I believe I'm going to be bigger and better, that's where I'm headed.
Yeah, I love that. And I can't wait to see this leather skirt you're talking about. But no, it's so true. Like I had a vision 7-8 years ago. I had a vision that I was setting up my life so that I can live and work anywhere I want in the world. And guess what? I made that happen. I'm living at I used to live in Chicago. That was where my salon was. I do not I put my stuff in storage 2 years ago, and I live in Pittsburgh most of the time. That's another story. But this summer, I'm living literally 2 blocks from the Jersey Shore. The beach is 2 blocks from my house. And like, I visualize that happening. And that's where now I get to work and live wherever I want. So visualization is huge. It's so huge. I'm glad that you brought that up, April. I saw somebody put in the chat about the feeling of I have to work more than my team. Was that what it was? Somebody had said that.
Yeah.
Oh, that is so common. Unfortunately, that is so common. There's this limiting belief that the owner has to work hard, make more money than their team. And that is far from the truth. You know, I mean, when I was running my salon at times, and I'm not saying my salon was a picnic every week. It had its ups and downs. I'll write a book about it one day. But there were times when I was literally on the road for 2 weeks and I wasn't in my salon. So it is completely possible. I could make recommendations all the time, having employee handbooks in place, job descriptions, compensation structures. If you have I'll talk about employee-based business right in this section. You want to make sure that as the owner that you are producing, you want to get your team producing 80% of the revenue. If you want to still do hair behind the chair. Because here's the thing, I just recommend to everybody, gosh forbid something happens. Like I had to take a 7-month leave of absence from my business. Okay. I wouldn't have been able to do that if my team wasn't producing majority of the sales. That I would not have been able to do that. So that was like I did myself a favor by having that happen. And then it just goes, and then that's a whole culture conversation. What kind of conversations are we having with the team to grow them? Because as the owner, first and foremost, I don't know, what is the majority of people? Are they owners on here, do you believe, April? Or solopreneurs?
I'd say mostly owners.
Okay. Like, here's the thing, owners, you are the ones that put the risk, the financial risk. You're the ones putting yourself out there. I call it the road least traveled. Okay. Here's the thing. I know all day long, and I love employees. I love all types of people, but like when it comes to being the owner, you are putting yourself at risk. You deserve also to have proper days off. You deserve to have your company being profitable. You deserve to take vacations. Okay. And then again, a lot of that just goes down to then structure and system building. What do I have to put in place so that I can have that lifestyle? Do you need to raise prices? Do you need to hire more employees? Do you need to put more structures and systems in place? Do I have to have compensation structure change? I really recommend when I coach owners, I want to see the average being 40% goes to service providers, max, 40% max. If you're giving over 50% commission, let me tell you, you most likely you are not profiting. It's very, 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 very hard. You're probably losing money on those stylists. So please just pinky promise swear if you reach out to me, because I would support you on this, but if you're paying over 50%, that is like way too much. And another thing is how are you charging for your prices? You have to price your services based on your business bills, not the person down the street. Because guess what? You might be basing your prices on their dysfunction. Okay. So your pricing has to be structured on what your bills are. And then I know like April, you were like naming all the bills that we have to pay. Really, the things that I feel like can like really add up are the very, very, very small expenses that you might not even be aware of. Those things might be blindsiding you. So really getting clear on like where every penny is going. So owner operator with independent contractors. Okay, gotcha. So yeah, I mean, I can, there's different compensation structures. I could talk about that all day long, but you really want to make sure, because payroll, and I know you got Bonnie, April, you and Bonnie had a conversation last month
Yeah,
about payroll being like the biggest expense.
yeah. And it is, I mean, payroll and then inventory is the second one. And I think, both of those are very complicated. And I think sometimes owners, because they are so complicated, just don't really know where to start or what to do. And I think that's with a lot of things. If you have a big goal, I think sometimes we put it off and we don't even try because we feel like the task is too big to tackle. And so, I would say if the goal is that, if you have a goal of making more money, that's a pretty big goal. And so how do we break that down? And what are maybe you pick 3 different things that are going to help you get there. And then on each of those 3 things, do we set a timeline? Do we talk about whatever stopped us from making that successful in the past? And then one at a time, and I don't know if any of you follow Mel Robbins, but she's I love Mel Robbins, and she has this thing, it's called the 5-second rule. If you've never listened to her podcast or followed her on LinkedIn or anything like that, I'd suggest that you do that. But, it's all about, just get off your hinder dinder, as I call it at my house with little kids, get off of that and go and do it. And so, if you know that you need to raise your prices and you've just been putting it off forever, write it down, start making a plan and stick to it and make it happen. And like Brigette said, you may lose a few clients, but that's okay. It's okay if you lose a few clients. Because
And visualize, and visualize what does your ideal client look like?
right.
Getting super clear on who your ideal clients are. Like I was just working with an owner a few weeks ago, and she really got clear that her ideal clients were nurses because she wants to attract a clientele that are going to come more during the day. So she wants to actually attract the nurses that work more the night shifts.
Sure.
She even got super clear on that.
Yeah. And I would say that for most of you that are on the call, you're on the call because you're a salon owner, but the principles that we're talking about today carry over into your day-to-day life. So these things these little tips and tidbits of information will help you in your business, which excites me, especially if I work with you. That really excites me. But what I want for you is for this to also carry over into your personal life, because that's really the reason why we're here. Our business helps feed that, but what's your personal goal? What changes do you need to make in the business in order to obtain those things? Because that's what I want for you. Yeah, I'd love to see you make a lot of money and save a lot of money on taxes, and that's great. And we can walk through all of that. But if what you want is to be able to spend more time with your grandkids or whatever, those are the things that we're really trying to get to. Do you want to be able to sell your business for a profit? Well, how do we get there?
Yeah. And mindset is a huge, huge, huge part of it. Mindset and letting go of the negative emotions that are getting in your way, letting go of the limiting beliefs and the limiting thoughts. And I mean, I know it like firsthand. I've 2 people that I could think of off the top of my head that I've done, work with their mindset. One of my past a client of mine that did work prior to the mindset work, when she did have growth in her business, she would have 20% growth. When she did some mindset work of really letting go of negative emotions and limiting beliefs, she literally the next month, her business grew by 50%. So she went from averaging 6,000 a month to 9,000. Now she's doing over 10, and she works less. And now she's an educator for a smoothing company. So that was because she changed her mindset. She already knew the tools and everything. So your mindset is powerful. Like I just had another owner, mindset work. Her salon skyrocketed in sales, and she bought her first real estate investment, and she's only 28 years old. The girl's gonna own the world. But like, that's why I want to talk about mindset. Like I can teach someone all day long about here's your compensation structure, here's your handbook, all the things. But if we're not working on our mindset, it's only going to take us so far. Like, and I think sky is the limit, and the possibilities are endless in this industry. You know, I think one of the things I would love to see change is people saying, or stylists saying, well, first and foremost, I say stylist a lot because I'm a former stylist, but like, I'm just a stylist. No, like this industry gets to literally legally touch people. We get to touch people. And with this day and age, with technology and cell phones, I mean, people need that more than ever. Like, so I just think the more our industry evolves, and it's just a ripple effect on the world. And we all have to like stand together and do it together. Like raise your prices because you're worth it. I mean, how much does cosmetology school cost these days? I think when I went, $4,000. And now I think it's like, what, 20? It's a lot. And then all the classes that we take and all of, you know, if you buy a nice set of shears, what are those? $800? It's a lot of money we put in there. Do you coach with California salons? I coach all over the world, actually. So yes, I coach with salons everywhere. Thank you for asking. April, were you going to say something? And I would like to hear from you guys. What questions do you have? What do you want to know? I mean, I'm here to serve.
Just a personal story again, because I don't have the knowledge and the coaching background that you do about this topic, but just a personal story for me. For some people know the story about me, but you know, my husband and I, unfortunately, our oldest child passed away just over 9 years ago. Lane's been gone, and there's a lot of reasons why I'm okay today, but one of the biggest reasons I'm okay today is because I choose to be okay today. I choose to see whatever good I can in the life that I got to share with Lane while he was here, the blessings that we had, the things that he taught us, the things that I can take that he taught us and teach to other people. And I think that my mindset, or my understanding of where my mind has to be in order for me to be okay, is why I am okay. It's why I'm here, you know, because it would be easy to crawl in a hole and just be mad at the world. But if you get up every day and you say, hey, I have these 5 things I have to do today, and one of them is to give yourself a little bit of grace that you might only get 4 done, that's okay, right? But I think you have the ability, you choose. I tell this to the high school students that I get to go speak to, is that you get to choose every single day, kind of like you said, a clean canvas. Get up every day, make the choice to do those things that you love to do, and to act on those things that are important to you. Because at the end of the day, there's nobody else to blame but yourself. And so see yourself at that goal and do it. There's no excuse.
Yeah,
Every day is new. Every day is new.
yes, it's a decision and it's a lifestyle. Like, again, I got many stories. I've had amazing things happen in my life, and I've gone through nasty divorce. I filed bankruptcy because of my divorce. I was buying my own business back because of bankruptcy. I had breast cancer twice. You're all free and clear of that, by the way. But like, I'm not kidding you. Like, I had somebody call me this morning that is having a health scare. And they were like, how are you handling it? And I said, I will be honest with you. It's a lifestyle choice. Every day I practice what I preach. I work on my mindset. I have to think about what do I want? What are the things I have to release? And don't get me wrong, I have my own, there's emotions that I'll still get angry or sad or upset at times, but I get out of it quicker, sooner, faster. Where if you knew me 8 years ago, when I was talking to you about my divorce, you would see me getting angry all over again because I was having a really hard time releasing it.
I think when I first met you, Brigette, you were in the middle of your divorce.
Yeah.
Not long after that. So, do you have some information that you were wanting to share with them about? I see that you went ahead and put your calendar on there, so I want to make sure you don't forget to talk about that.
Yeah. So I'm offering a complimentary 60-minute power, joy, and profits strategy sessions. They're valued at $550, and I'd love to gift this to everybody on this call. So I put my calendar link in the chat. And I also put, if you can't, for some reason, you can't find a spot on my calendar link, I put my direct email in there as well. There are questions in the calendar link, and they're completely so I can have these questions answered so I can better serve you and support you in our call. Those what the questions are intended for. But I have that. So I put that in the chat. Any questions that you may have? Anything that I didn't touch on? Anything, any ha-has? You can come and talk.
I will tell the group here that if you're not currently a COPSA OD client and you're looking for a new partner in that way, that COPSA OD is always looking for great clients, but we do have a pretty strict checklist that we work through with our clients. And so if you're interested in that at all, you can always reach out to me through our website, and I'll put the website in the chat. But like I said, when I first got on the call today, my purpose of this call is to support Brigette and support what she's teaching, because I think there's a lot of truth to it. My purpose of being on the call wasn't to try to bring business in, but like I said, we're always looking for great new clients, and I think there's a lot of benefit from really giving attention to what's going on in your mind in making success in your business.
Yeah. Mindset, instructors and systems and all the things. And I I recommend April all the time to people that I'm working with. So yes, when I was their client, oh my gosh, when I was first working with Larry, it's like you should have seen red flags from the beginning before you get married. However, he untangled me out of a pretty big mess from my the guy that I married. So I highly recommend working with them.
I don't know. I'm not sure if I want all the mess.
I'm turning red.
I just one more thing about something that you said that I think just really resonated with me, and then I'll be quiet because I'm sure people are wanting to move on. Bye, Mitch. Thanks for coming. And that's that I think that you are right when you say many people in this industry discount the value of themselves. They don't think they're worth it. They don't take themselves seriously. All the time, I have to remind people that, whether you are an independent contractor or you are a solo artist, or you're working on a team, or you're the salon owner, whatever it is, that you are a business owner. And you have to take yourself seriously, because you have an opportunity to do some really great things. And like Brigette said, you're touching people all the time. I tell you what, my time with my stylist, I go to see her every 6 weeks. It's like clockwork. And I don't cancel that appointment unless I absolutely have to. It's the best thing for me. I love it. Take advantage of that opportunity that you have to have such great impact on other people, because being the client, as I am the client, it's the best, hour and a half, 2 hours every 6 weeks that I get to share a part of me.
Yeah. Yeah. There's so much opportunity in this industry. It's completely endless. Like if someone would have told me when I was in cosmetology school back in 93, yes, I'm aging myself. I'm turning 50 in 2 weeks from today. Crazy. But if someone were to tell me back then, they're like, one day you are going to become a business coach and a life coach and a mindset coach, and you are going to own a coaching academy, I would have looked at them and I would have said, I don't even know what a coach is. So like to stylist, to master certified hair colorist, to educator for a hair color company, to becoming a business owner, to then becoming a coach. I mean, it like sky is the limit in this industry. You can really take it anywhere, which I think is so amazing.
You know what I tell my daughters when they start getting down on themselves? I say, the only opinion that matters is the opinion you have of yourself. And so stop caring about what everybody else thinks and make sure you're taking care of yourself. Yeah. Because if you think you're beautiful, if you think you're worthy of those things that you want, that's all that matters. Yeah. And you can make those things happen if you believe in it. But if you start believing what everybody else believes, or these negative thoughts, you're not ever going to get there. Yeah. So the only opinion that matters is the opinion that you have of yourself.
Yes, I love that. And I think the more you work on your own mindset, I know this for me personally, the more I work on my own mindset, the more I attract amazing people into my life. The more I work on it, the more I attract amazing people. So your ideal employees are out there, your ideal clients are out there, your ideal friends and colleagues and relationships are out there. It all starts though with the inner work. It absolutely starts with the inner work. So yeah. And like, yeah, I like to call it too, you guys need to become deliciously selfish. What I mean by deliciously selfish is you have to put yourself first, fill your cup up first, take care of you, and then your cup will flow out into everybody else. And then you make a bigger impact on this world and it becomes a ripple effect. You actually become a better leader. So become deliciously selfish.
I love it. What else can we do to serve you guys? Do you have any questions? We just really wanted this to be really a back and forth banter discussion. I hope you found value out of it. We appreciate you spending part of your day with us. We know that you had to make a choice to be here. So thank you for choosing to spend some time with Brigette and I. We're very thankful for you. We wish you all the best in your businesses and keep thinking great things. Does anybody have anything left for us today? Okay. Well, Brigette, we've talked about all of it, I guess. So.
Well, I appreciate you so much, April. You are amazing.
You.
Like, I really cannot wait. I can't wait to see that leather skirt.
I appreciate you too.
I was visioning it for you.
Thank you.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah. Have an amazing day. Focus on what you want. Focus on what you want. Focus on what you want.
put it out there, guys.
That's right.
Okay. Talk to everybody later. Bye.